Hello, Mr. Dowse here. In this video we're going to take a look at tasks 14 and 15. So task 14 took a string answer to the question, do you like Python coding? And then we started to look at if, elif and else statements, conditional statements where if this value is true, the bit that's indented happens. And if it isn't, it moves down and has a look to see if this value is true. And if that's true, this happens. And if not, then this happens regardless. So this is printed out. So in task 14, we were interested in getting a string from the user, an answer to the question, do you like Python coding, with the answer being yes or no, Y or N. They're characters, they're strings. But it's important to know that whenever we get an input from the user, it's always stored in a string. So even if I answered with a number, it would actually be stored as a string. So if I typed in 23 there, it would, well, I'll say 32 then, it would actually be stored like that in quotes. And that's quite important as we move on to task 15. So this code says, do you like Python coding? And here, if my answer, this is where I've stored what the user types in at the keyboard. So if what's stored in answer is equal to, not equals, but equal to y, lowercase, or if answer is equal to y, capital, so whether it's a capital or a lowercase, if it's y or y, then I want it to print, great news, you're on your way to being a computer scientist. If it wasn't y or y, well then I want you to check this. If it was y or y, we're finished. It doesn't do the elif, it doesn't do the else, it's finished. But if this wasn't true, well then it looks to see if answer was equal to n, lowercase, or if answer was equal to n, uppercase. And if we did type in an n in lowercase or uppercase, it prints, oh, I'm shocked. Okay. Now it is possible that someone would type something else in, something silly that doesn't make sense. So we have to have a condition to deal with that. So if it's yes or yes, do this. If it's no or no, do that. Otherwise, print. And what I've done here is I've repeated whatever it is that they answered. So I've used the variable name and then I've concatenated that string. And I used a plus because I don't want a space before my question mark. And then I've written question mark. I can only assume that means you really love Python. So let's run this code and see if that works. I'm going to go run module. And do I like Python coding? Well, I'll try capital Y. Great news, you're on your way to being a computer scientist. I'll run the module. Do I like Python coding? No. Well, I'm shocked, and that time I used a lowercase n. And then what if we type in something a bit silly? 23. 23. I can only assume that means you really love Python code. So, whatever I type in here gets stored in here. I then compare what's stored in there to a string of my choosing, and it's a string, so it's got to be in quotes. Okay, you can see it's green, and if that is true, it prints this. If not, and only if not, it looks at this. Does answer equal in a string n or n? Well, if it does, it prints this. And if it does print that, it doesn't do this. And if this wasn't true and this wasn't true, well then it will just print this out. Okay. Now what's important to note here is we are looking at Python code where we're comparing strings. So all of my equal to's are in quotes. If we go over here, and this is a precursor to the task where you're doing the number between 1 and 100, which a few of you struggled with, here we're looking at entering a number and we're doing some comparison. So I want to know if the number is bigger, the first number was bigger, greater than. I want to know if not, was the first number less than. Well, if the first number wasn't greater than and the first number wasn't less than, then they must both be the same. So if number 1 is bigger than number 2, print your first number was biggest. If it wasn't, check to see if number 1 was less than number 2, print it was the second number was biggest. And if neither of those were true, well then both numbers must be the same. But what's really, really key here is these two lines of code. Remember, when we get a number or any sort of entry from the user at the keyboard, it always gets stored as a string. So whatever's stored in number 1, let's assume for a minute I type in 23. It's stored like that as a string. I can't say, is 23 as a string greater than, for example, 24 as a string, because Python doesn't know. It can only compare numbers. It can't compare strings and say which one's greater. How would you compare that? So we have to convert our strings into numbers. And to do that, we use this code here. We say number1, which as we know is now containing a string of a number, and we say is equal to the int, so the integer version, and then in the brackets we say of num1. So we convert whatever's in num1 to an integer, and then we store it back as an integer in our number1 variable. We then do the same thing for num2. We take the value num2, we turn it into an integer, and we store it back in num2. And now we can do those mathematical comparisons. Let's have a quick look. Run module. I need to bring this back across. So my first number is going to be 23. My second number is going to be 24. My second number was the biggest. Let's run it again. This time I'm going to do 24 and 23. My first number was the biggest. And finally, I'm going to do 23 and 23, and both numbers were the same size. What's really, really important to notice here is that these variables have not got quotes around them. Neither did answer. It's only if I'm comparing to a string do I use quotes. And I cannot compare numbers that I've taken in at the keyboard unless I cast them, that means turn them from a string into an integer. So these are really key pieces of code, and it's really important to know that variable names and numbers are written in without quotes. It's only strings or characters that should ever be in quotes. And that is task 14 and 15 done. Thanks for watching.